Welcome back. Today's team history video, we're going to look at the Nashville Predators. Nashville, there's been some movement in their top 10 list since the last time that I did a history video on Nashville. The Preds, of course, came in late 90s, came in with Barry Trotz, and since then they have been a stalwart when it comes to goaltenders and defense. They're very good at drafting defensemen who end up being excellent top 2/top 4. And they're pretty good at developing goaltenders, especially Finnish-born. So, David Legwand is still the leader in overall scoring, but he won't be for that much longer. 956 games played, 210 goals, 356 assists for 566 points. Roman Josi is number 2. He's going to pass Legwand this season. 760 games played, 140 goals, 402 assists for 542 points. So he is 23 points away from passing Legwand and being number 1 on the list. Martin Erat is third, 723 games, 163 goals, 318 assists, 481 points. And just beneath him, Philip Forsberg, the one he was traded for. So Forsberg, 566 games, 220 goals, 249 assists, 469 points. Forsberg and Josi will be 1-2 on this list by, I'll say, the middle of, not this coming season, but the season after, 23-24. So, Forsberg and Josi are the guys, and we'll see whether or not those guys can get them a Stanley Cup ring, right? Shea Weber's number 5 on the list, and 763 games played, 166 goals, 277 assists, 443 points. Again, excellent defense all the way through their existence. Ryan Johansen, 478 games played, 98 goals, 236 assists for 334 points. Craig Smith's next on the list, 661 games played, 162 goals, 160 assists, 330 points. So he got bumped down by Johansen near the end of the season. Kimmo Timonen still on the board, 573 games, 79 goals, 222 assists, 301 points. Ryan Ellis, of course, traded to Philadelphia last summer, 562 games, 75 goals, 195 assists, 270 points. JP Dumont is still on this board. 388 games, 93 goals, 174 assists, 267 points. You have to think he's going to get replaced in that top 10 soon enough. Their all-time wins leader is Pekka Rinne, to the surprise of no one. 369 wins, Thomas Vokoun with 161, UC Saros 114, so he has a long way to go to catch Rinne. Mike Dunham, 81 wins, and Chris Mason with 59. So for Nashville, Saros is going to be, you'd have to think, passing Vokoun next season. So next season, we should have Josi and Forsberg at the top. Saros should be number 2 in the wins. It's good. Their only retired number that I could find, Pekka Rinne, number 35. Although number 9 for Forsberg, I would say that is highly likely to get retired at some point. Josi, once he's done. Weber, when Weber retires, I think they probably retire Weber's number. A lot of defensemen. Who knows? Maybe they even retire Ryan Ellis's at some point. Anyway, because Nashville has had excellent defensemen all the way through. Not even on the board here is Ryan Suter, who had some good years in Nashville too. Now, playoffs since 2000. They make the playoffs a lot. They really do, starting with 2004. But they lose in the first round often as well. They lost in the first round that year against Detroit. That was in 6 games. 2006, they lost in the first round against San Jose in 5. 2007, a year, I believe that's the year that they were all hyped up and they brought in Peter Forsberg, but they still finished and lost in the first round against San Jose in 5. 2008, they lost in the first round. This is against Detroit again in 6. So Detroit, San Jose, Detroit. They don't like playing San Jose. 2010, so they missed the playoffs in 09. 2010 when they get back. They lost in the first round against Chicago. That was in 6. 2011, they lose in the second round against Vancouver in 6. So that's the first time they get out of the first round is in 2011. 2012, they lost in the second round again, this time against the Phoenix Coyotes. That was in 5. 2015, after missing the playoffs for a couple of years, they get back. They lose in the first round against Chicago in 6. So they lost against Chicago in the first round in 2010 and 2015, years that Chicago wins the Stanley Cup. 2016, they lost in the second round against San Jose. That was in 7. 2017, this is the year that they make it to the final. This is the year that Pekka Rinne is just too good right now. And they lost in the final against Pittsburgh in 6. 2018, they lose in the second round against Winnipeg. That was in 7. 2019, they lose in the first round against Dallas. That was in 6. And that was That was quite a telling series, I thought. They haven't survived a round since then. They lose in the qualifying round in 2020 against the Coyotes in 4. 2021, they lost in the first round against Carolina in 6. Hard-fought series there. This year, of course, they lost in the first round against Colorado in 4. So it does feel like they reached the final in 2017. They win the President's Trophy in 2018. And there's been like a steady decline. And now it's about turning around that decline. So there hasn't been a Stanley Cup for Nashville. Nashville, of the teams that have missed out on getting a Stanley Cup in their histories, I think Nashville's odds are pretty good of being the next team to win their first. Just in comparison with other teams that have never won one. Bridgestone Arena has been their home since 1999. Bridgestone. Not Bridgestone. Bridgestone. So Bridgestone's been their home since 99. And so, yeah, that's their home arena. A lot of good things said about both the arena and the neighborhood. I've often heard that like one of the best experiences when you go to a hockey game is in Nashville. Their coaching history is short. 3 coaches. Barry Trotz ends up with a record of 557, 479, and 60. So he was there forever. John Hines, their current coach, 92, 64, and 10. Depending on the week, he may be seen as a pretty good, competent coach, or why isn't he fired yet? Depends on the week. The first goal in history of the team was actually in their second game. Was scored by Andrew Burnett at 5:12 of the first period in a 3-2 win against the Canes. Their most recent goal was scored by Philip Forsberg at 3:58 of the third in a 5-3 loss against Colorado that completed the sweep for the Colorado Avalanche. Their all-time penalty minutes leader, Jordan Tootoo, with 725 in his career. When we get into season records, Matt Duchene, 43 goals in 21-22. Roman Josi, 73 assists this past season as well. 96 points sets a record for Nashville in 21-22. So one good thing for Nashville is they've now had a 40-goal scorer. They almost had a 100-point scorer. And Josi's 73 assists, very impressive. So season records have definitely been improved. Penalty minutes, Patrick Cote with 242 and 98-99. That surprised me too. Pekka Rinne with 43 wins in 2011-2012. That's still the wins record. I don't think that one's in any danger. I think that overplaying Saros is a bad idea, so I don't expect him to play enough to beat that record, but we'll see what happens. Now, best draft picks. Nashville's been pretty good at the draft table. If you're looking for some steals in the third round and beyond, we've got a few. 1999 drafted 191st overall is Martin Erat. Erat, of course, is remembered for being sent to Washington in the Forsberg deal. I should do a career video on Erat because it's interesting. He was a good player, and then it didn't work out in Washington, of course. Number 230 in 2005 was Patrick Hornquist. I believe that was the last draft pick of that draft. Number 98 in 2009 was Craig Smith. Pretty good forward, currently playing in Boston. Number 112 in 2014, Victor Arvidsson, one of my favorite members of Nashville. Now he's with the Kings. 2015, drafting 115th overall, they draft Alexander Carrier, another good defenseman. And that's it after in 2009, drafting 102nd overall, they get Matthias Ekholm. So, yeah, some pretty good defense there. Number 258 in 2004 was Pekka Rinne. Number 99 in 2013 was UC Saros. So both Rinne and Saros were drafted third round and beyond. And so that's fantastic, right? That's what you want to see. You want to see those steals. Now, first round picks that have played less than 100 games. There's not a lot with Nashville. There aren't. 1999, Brian Finley's drafted 6th. He played a grand total of 4 games. In 2008, drafted 18th overall, Chet Pickard never played a game in the NHL. There was a lot of hype about Chet Pickard in his draft year, and it just never worked out for him. So, it's an interesting history. It does lack a Stanley Cup championship, but this is a team that is pretty reliable to make the playoffs. They've made the playoffs every year since 2015, although they did lose the qualifying round in 2020. So they got playoff games. They did not qualify for round 1 because they lost against Arizona. This is a team looking to win a round for the first time since 2018. Is this the year they do it? Let me know your thoughts in the comment section below about the Nashville Predators. Don't forget to hit like and subscribe. If you're browsing your way through, you just happened upon this video. Thank you guys so much for watching, for all your support. I will talk to you again soon.